So you're dealing with a Gemini man or woman and you're trying to figure out, are you about to be ghosted? Well, I am Lamarr Townsend. If you're new to my channel, I am an astrologer, a psychic, an energy channeler, and a tarot reader. So I have some information about Geminis to hopefully help you with the situation. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube video. Please keep in touch with me on all my other social media platforms, including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Vimeo, Twitch, and more. I also have a podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Anchor. Keep in touch with me on my website, and if you would like a personal reading, I am available for personal readings. You can text me at 703-791-9162. This is my business phone number. You can also email me at lamarr.townsend@gmail.com. However, the best way to get a reading from me is to just directly visit my website, read the descriptions, look through the store section, and figure out what works for you. Alright? And if you would like a reading, this is my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Like I said, I am available for personal readings. You can, once again, follow me on my Twitch. Of course, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube. Become a member of my Patreon, where I do exclusive content. And also check out my podcast on Spotify, also available on Apple. You can scroll down and read the reviews from people who have purchased readings from me. And you can also follow me, like I said, down here on Instagram and Facebook. As you can see, I also do drag as well. And if you would like a reading, go right to the store section. This is where you can go to view all the rates, services, products, classes, candles, and different types of things that I do offer. And as you can see, I do quite a lot. I do birth chart readings. As you can see, I do birth chart readings. I do mediumship readings if you want to connect to those who have passed on and hear messages from your ancestors and spirit guides. I actually just got a reading from a client. All right. If you just heard that, I also do past life readings. So thank you to whoever just purchased that reading. I do past life readings if you want to learn about your past lives. I do individual birth chart readings and compatibility birth chart readings. I do phone readings. I do hour-long readings, 30-minute readings. I do spiritual development classes, astrology classes, where I teach you how to read an astrology chart and how to understand astrology. I do tarot classes. I do dream interpretation readings. Like I said, I do candles as well, for those who want candle work and magic and things of that nature. So there's a price point for everyone. So do not hesitate to reach out for a personal reading if that would intrigue you. Alright. I just got a reading literally as we were talking about that. So that's interesting how Spirit works that way. Thank you, Spirit, for that sign of something. Alright. In some way, shape, or maybe that was just synchronicity. I don't know. Either way, thank you for purchasing readings from me. And thank you for supporting my channel and my business. Alright. With that being said, 5 signs that a Gemini man or woman is about to ghost you. Well, let's talk about some quick facts about Gemini. First of all, Gemini is traditionally ruled by Mercury, which is also the ruler of the 3rd house, which is specifically Gemini. Gemini rules the 3rd house. However, for all intents and purposes, Mercury does also rule Virgo, which is the 6th house. However, we're going to be focusing on Gemini, that aspect of Mercury in this video. Gemini, in terms of Mercury, rules communication, intellect, the mind. It also rules one's young childhood to young adult years. It also does rule one's upbringing, one's local travel, and all things of this nature. All right. Geminis are very adaptable by nature as well. They're very adaptable people. Geminis are people who, they oftentimes have the gift of gab. Depending on what makeup they may have in their chart. It can be their gift of gab is better sometimes channeled in other ways, such as creativity. They can be very imaginative. Case in point, someone like Kanye West. So even though they are good with the gift of gab, that doesn't mean that that's always their strongest trait in terms of eloquently speaking or things of that nature, or processing information, efficiently. These are just some factoids about Gemini. Geminis also, can be good multitaskers, but in the same frame, they can also not be the best multitaskers, which kind of is going to fall in line with what we are going to talk about here in this video. So let's go ahead and get into the 5 signs that a Gemini is potentially about to ghost you. Alright, And by the way, these are in no specific order. Number one is that they either intentionally or unintentionally contradict themselves, is the number one sign, or the first sign that a Gemini might be potentially about to ghost you. Meaning that they do one thing and say another, or they say one thing and do another. For example, Gemini may contradict themselves in terms of saying, oh yeah, I'll call you at 5, don't worry about it. You know, 5 comes around, they don't call. 6 comes around, they don't call. 7 comes around, they don't call. Say one thing, do another. You know, another example is, oh yeah, I'll be there, don't worry. You know, the event starts, they don't show up. Halfway into the event, they don't show up. You know, the event's over, they still haven't shown up. Once again, saying one thing and doing another. This definitely could be, you know, a sign that either the Gemini is number 2, which is, we'll talk about number 2 here in a second, or they just don't necessarily value maybe your friendship, your time, your relationship, and it's not at the top of their priority list. Or, you know, Gemini are very much out of sight, out of mind types of people. So this definitely could be a sign that, you know, once again, it's not a high priority for them, and therefore it's easy for them to contradict themselves when it comes to you, and therefore is a sign that potentially they might be ghosting you soon. Alright? Let's get into the number 2 sign that a Gemini is about to ghost you. The number 2 sign that a Gemini is potentially about to ghost you is that they become forgetful. This once again coincides a little bit with number 1. This could be an effect of number 1 too. If they're forgetful, they may just naturally contradict themselves. But Geminis by nature are not necessarily forgetful people. They remember everything. They're very smart, very witty, you know, and they know a lot of information. They store a lot of information in that big brain of theirs, alright? So if a Gemini becomes forgetful when it comes to you, especially of important dates, important events like anniversaries or your birthday or something like that, this once again can be a sign that they may not see you as a high priority necessarily, or it's very much out of sight, out of mind, which can be a sign that maybe you're not someone that they think about regularly or they think about often, you know, if they, you know, are forgetful when it comes to you. So number 2 definitely can be a sign that, you know, that they're about to ghost you is when they become forgetful with you. Or if they're forgetful right off the bat, that's a red flag when it comes to a Gemini, alright, in general. Alright, if you tell them, you know, what your favorite, you know, color is or your favorite food is, and then the next day or the next week they completely forget, you know, it's like, okay, you know, just some red flags to keep in mind. Of course, everyone can't remember everything, right? But certain things you remember, like someone's name, right? You should remember, right? So these are just some signs to look out for. Number 3 is that they don't give you their full undivided attention. Once again, this is a sign, you know, that, you know, they may not see you as a high priority. They may have some inner feelings that they're kind of like, I don't know if I want to say struggling with, or internalizing, that they don't want to necessarily expose to you, you know. So they don't give you their full undivided attention. You know, that can be one symptom or one reason why they may not give you their full undivided attention. And this can be also like the energy of you being in person with them, especially. Like, say you're out on a date, or say you're out, you know, having dinner together, and they're on their phone the whole time. They're chatting this and that, you know, or it's like, you know, they go from their phone to maybe having a 2, 3, 5-minute conversation with you, and then back to their phone, you know, and then they're talking to this and that. They're looking all over, and it's like, you know, if a Gemini is not giving you their full undivided attention, now I'm not saying, you know, that, you know, it's like, you know, you have to stare at the person, or they have to stare at you the whole time, you know, and, you know, like, you know, almost like, you know, a creep or something like that, you know, in terms of giving you attention. You know, like, it's unrealistic to expect someone's undivided full attention all the time, is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, if this is a frequent thing of them not giving you their full undivided attention, number 1, you know, it becomes easy for them, therefore, to do number 2, which is to become forgetful with you, or to also contradict themselves with you. And number 2, you know, it's a fledged sign that this Gemini, once again, may not value you or your time the way you value them, unfortunately. Alright? So, you may want to say something. Geminis are really good at the gift of gab. So they are good with communication most of the time. But they're also good at holding things in and, kind of like, acting like things are okay when they're really not necessarily 100% okay, right? So, just some things to pay attention to. Speaking of you calling them out, number 4 is sign that they're about to ghost you, is that they start to call you out more frequently, alright? Now it's interesting because this can also fall in line with number 1. Say for example, you're dealing with a number 3 Gemini, they don't give you their full undivided attention. So suddenly, when you're together, you're on your phone the whole time, and you're kind of doing your own thing, and you're not giving them your full undivided attention either. But if a Gemini calls you out for it, even though they're doing the same thing that you're doing to them, this is a sign of, number 1, a Gemini picking a fight, but number 2, a Gemini almost like doing reverse psychology in a way. It's like, no, I'm not the problem, you're the problem, kind of thing. So if a Gemini starts to call you out for little things like that, or just, things, because Geminis are very much happy-go-lucky people for the most part. They are really good at letting things slide under the rug, but if they start calling you out more on, things in the past that they would let slide, maybe, it's like, you are usually late to your outings with the Gemini, but lately the Gemini's been calling you out for being late more frequently and wasting their time or things like that. That could be a sign that, they're about to ghost you. Once again, it's kind of reverse psychology. Sometimes the Gemini knows what they're doing, sometimes they don't. Geminis can be kind of air the line of intentional or unintentional, right? But when they start calling you out more frequently, this is a sign that it's like, they're trying to potentially make you the problem, alright? So when they do ghost you, it's like, no, you were the problem the whole time. Remember, you did this and that, and I called you out on this and that, alright? So once you've gotten to the number 4 point, it can be hard to break out of that reverse psychology, that Jedi mind trick that Geminis are good at doing. Lastly, number 5 is that they avoid you, alright? If a Gemini avoids you, especially in public, it's very easy for a Gemini to avoid you in terms of a phone call, an email, or a text message or something like, or DM, right? But if they avoid you in public and completely act like they don't see you or act like you exist, and Geminis are good at leaving you questioning, did they really see me or did they not see me? Chances are 8 times out of 10 that they did see you, but once again, Geminis are good actors. So they're good at acting like, one way, but completely saying or knowing or, thinking the other. Once again, they can be contradictory in nature. Once again, it's that kind of dual-sidedness that they have. They are the twins, alright? So when a Gemini avoids you, this is definitely a sign that they are either about to ghost you or probably have already ghosted you. Now they're interesting because they'll come back and say, oh, I didn't even see you, or I didn't even know you were there, or I'm so sorry, I was so focused on this or that. That falls in line with 2, they become forgetful, they contradict themselves, number 1. Number 3, they don't give you their full undivided attention, and maybe at some point number 4 could fall in with them calling you out, alright? So once they avoid you, 1 through 3 is already, kind of there for you. So once they've avoided you, once they've gotten to that point, it can be, once again, very difficult to come back from that with a Gemini. I would say the best way to approach a Gemini and deal with a Gemini is to just go with the flow. Communication is key, but communicating in the proper way. You kind of want to mirror the Gemini's behavior, in terms of communication and things of that nature. But they're good at recognizing you repeating their behavior, so you want to switch it up. It's kind of like plagiarizing. You don't want to completely copy. You want to switch up some words so it doesn't seem like the exact same thing, right? Anyways, I feel like I've talked up a storm. I appreciate you all for being here. If you would like to elaborate, please check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Text me at 703-791-9162. As you can see, I have a personal reading to get to. Love and light. God bless. And thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And keep in touch. I'll see you in your own personal reading, or I'll see you soon either way. God bless.